West Virginia continues to sign transfer commitments, or get the commitments they'll sign later, or enter school later. Not as many so far today, but some key positions, and hopefully some key players at some point along the way. I'll cover all of that as soon as I tell you. As if you didn't know, this is WVU Football Going Deep, the channel for fans who like to think as well as cheer. And keep in mind that trash talk and insults do not fly here. I am Forrest Poston. I do not fly here. I do not fly anywhere except potentially in my dreams. But since I continue to go down the sleep deprivation hole, I'm not doing a lot of dreaming either. So expect me to be a bit out of focus, more out of focus, and we'll take it from there. Meanwhile, please subscribe to the channel, share, click the thumbs up button, click the notification bell, make comments, and tell your friends. There is news sort of on the coaching front, not so much new coaches as just kind of looking at what is more or less the total coaching list. Not going to get into that in this video. Most of you aren't that overwhelmingly interested. We'll get to the players. Quick note, though, on the coaching list. Everybody delighted to have Noel Devine in the fold, as it were. Worth noting, he is listed as an offensive analyst and assistant running back coach, and he is being paid, according to Mike Kazaza from 24/7 Sports, $45,000 for a one-year contract. That makes him significantly lower than others. Now, why? For one thing, he has no experience. So he's not going to get paid a lot. $45,000 these days is not really a good wage. He, of course, has, I don't believe, as far as I know, he is not in need of the salary in order to get by. So partly no experience, maybe an indication of just how much they expect him to do. And it might be that this is something of a favor to get him coaching experience if he wants to work his way up the line at West Virginia or anywhere else. And Rich Rodriguez giving him a chance to start a resume as a coach and build up from there. Seems to be potentially a win-win situation if Devine is now wanting to get into coaching on in a big way. Now, players who have committed. Wyatt Minor, offensive lineman. He's a West Virginia guy. Went to Youngstown State, redshirted his first year, played just a little bit last year, entered the portal, and was determined to return to a West Virginia school. Basically, once West Virginia offered, he committed. So, does this affect the line this year? That isn't clear. He hasn't done enough in his first 2 years to say this guy is ready, but third year for an offensive lineman is when you start expecting them to be ready to at least be a significant backup when needed and to do the job well. So gives us a little more depth at the very least, maybe by the fall, he will be ready. Um, it's certainly not a crowded room, but we at least now have competition for position and still need to sign 3 more offensive linemen, I would think. We'll see. The other addition is Chase Wilson. He's a linebacker, which was still another position of need, especially for experience. And Wilson will be a 6th-year senior. Obviously, that means only 1 year left. He's coming over from Colorado State. Stats the last 2 years are extremely good, especially last year. Good run coverage, and last year, good pass coverage. What that will translate to at West Virginia, wait to see. But a potential starter. Now, of course, we had Lathan and Trotter leave. That really hurt. We have now brought in Wilson and a little earlier Ashton Woods from North Carolina, but he doesn't have a lot of experience. He is pretty much as young as the newer guys we already have. So, of course, doesn't mean he won't push for starting time. I am not paying a whole lot of attention to whatever stats these guys have at this point, because that really just doesn't always translate. So hopeful, but I'm not creating expectations. Now, with the linebacker room, this means we would have Carrico, Wilson, and Cutter probably as the top 3. How they get used will, as I've said before, depend on the defense that Alley decides will be his base defense. I do think it will be a 3-man front. How he uses everybody, a 3-5 or whatever, or a 3-flex. There are so many different ways to do that. We'll have to see. But potentially it means Cutter can be used more as a downhill linebacker, which I think is his strength. I do expect improvement from Cutter. There were a number of things that messed up the defense last year, and I don't think you can really judge the quality of the players based on what happened with the defense. Behind those 3, we would have Ashton Woods, transfer, Ricky Williams and Curtis Jones, who were the linebackers who came in last year, who probably should be ready for some playing time this year, whether or not, they're how much playing time, but they should be ready to contribute. I think Jones was playing a good bit on special teams already. I'm not sure about Williams. And we've got, well, depending on, I think, Michael Hasty possibly called him a linebacker coming in with the freshman class. Then we also have Caden Beiser, who is very experienced. Donald Brandell, who I think is still a walk-on, who may or may not be here by then. And Raymond Kovaleski that I've mentioned, just on his film. I love how he tackles. Also a walk-on, and will he or will he not be here? They're listing these guys on the 2025 roster. It suggests they expect them to be here. So, number-wise, we do have pretty much what we need at linebacker. And probably at least some competition for the starting spots, and guys that we can move to the needed positions. What those will be, we'll have to wait and see. But the defense is firming up. Of course, defensive back was the biggest need. We've gotten several guys there, 2 or 3 of whom look to be really good on paper. Others, of course, the type who may shine and just haven't, they've shined at lower levels. Some haven't shined that much statistically, but we have, again, a variety of bodies and guys to compete. And of course, if Jacoby Spells will finally blossom and not get injured, that just destroyed him last year, as it turned out. But that could make a big, big difference. May still do a little on defense. I mentioned Golden Nelson yesterday. Reporting that he had signed wasn't really a good report, but supposed to make a decision today. And that, Chris Anderson, again, 24/7 Sports, has never reported it as a done deal, only as mentioning that it had been reported. But word now is that we will have a decision today. Now, again, we signed or got a commitment from a corner yesterday who would probably be ahead of Golden Nelson, so he may not, come to West Virginia. Depends on what his opportunities are at his other top schools. Anyway, I think that covers what we have so far. Primary need at this point would, same as it has been throughout the portal period, offensive line. Other than that, I think we're in good position. We've got the bodies. We've got a variety of abilities. A little light on experience at some places, but it looks like the roster should be good going into spring. Where we'll stand after the spring portal, well, we'll know that after the spring portal. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back when there's more news, or maybe take a look at the semi-complete coaching list if that's of interest. Got to figure out a headline that will make people want to watch it. I'll work on that while I work on trying to get some sleep while dealing with a growing list of things. So long.